Yes, my name is Torben Hjemme from the Danish Building Research Institute, and I'd like to address a question both to Evelyn and Robin. Talking about BIM models, Evelyn told us that in the post-construction stage, only was it 8% that was giving it value, that they had a BIM model afterwards. So my question is to you two, what about the long perspective here? Isn't the argument of giving facility management perspective to the buildings, isn't it there we could find a good argument for implementing BIM in the total value chain, so to speak?
Actually, what you say is totally correct. If you really want to use BIM to the fullest, you actually should use it from the life cycle approach manner. That means you can use BIM even up to FM stage, that means after the maintenance stage and things like that. What we do in NUS, I'm actually the co-director of NUS Center of Excellence in BIM Integration. We do have this research on BIM in the cloud using a mobile app for FM. So if you're interested, I got the app with me. You can see that as well.
One of the issues is that the people who start projects are often not the people who operate the building. So if a building is built as a speculative development, it's often sold, and unless the buyer is interested in a BIM, there is no motivation for the original constructor to do it. So that requires a change in thinking and attitudes by people who own buildings. An interesting development that can potentially change that is the COBE initiative that was originally started in the US but has also been picked up by the UK, where the concept there is that the building owner works with the design team on identifying what information they need in order to maintain the project after completion, document that information, and as part of the tender process, the contracting team then identify who is going to provide which bits of information, and then there is a process in place of data drops so that at 1/3, 2/3 and on completion, the information has to be provided in order for the subcontractor to get payment, which is a big difference from the current situation where normally there's a mad scramble in the last week of the project in order to gather all this data, and most of the people have already left site. So the technology and the concepts exist to do that. It just is, I think the issue is changing the mindset of the people who own and operate buildings so that they actually understand the cost to them of not having access to that information.
Okay. Is it okay? Any answer? Yeah. Okay, and any other questions?
Hi, I'm Sin from Sandavi. May I ask a question, architect Gardner? The presentation you did was very impressive. I just want to know, how does the 3D printing, that technology, can it be, applied to the concept that you are, pushing on affordable housing, building it that fast, that kind of stuff? 3D printing.
Thank you. First and foremost, the entire research is still going on. We are looking into everything. We didn't close down. We are looking into all the possibilities, how to create affordable and sustainable development, including 3D printing, number one. Number two, I take this opportunity to address about the budget and costing about this affordability. Per structure bay is about 20,000 per structure bay, and per modules we are talking about 8 structure bay. So it depends the flexibility within the modules, whether you want to use the ready-made bathroom or toilet or kitchen. It depends on your means. If you can afford better or bigger kitchen, then you can always feel free to adapt and adopt it. It's very responsive. So what I would like to say is that eventually the housing is no longer to be designed by architect. In fact, it's going to be a system. So having said that, we are looking into patent. Of course, you cannot patent design. No one can patent design, but you can patent the process. The process inside there is the niche which we are going to, in fact, is the research sponsored by CIDB, is a government, and then there are many possibilities which open up for private incorporation. So basically, we in terms of business potential, we are still like a blank paper. If Mr. Raymond feel that you want to, try to work together with us to develop as our research partner, so much so that we can proceed and then to establish as the first so-called D3 habitat system, then that will be advantageous. And then the structure bay, I'd like to say about structure bay. The structure bay, each structure bay comprised of 7.2 meter by 7.2 meter, about 500 square feet. And then inside each structure bay is a typical unit which we are divided into circulation, living space, and the service space. And this service space can be converted, it's so flexible that it can be converted into a veranda, which will allow a lot of new form, new technology, and new living pattern to be created within. Having said that, the most importantly is the flexibility. The mass customization, if we cannot solve the mass customization, we will never make this machine for living commercialized, can be viable, because it's already, there are thousands of architects trying to create this machine for living. But our approach is slightly different from that. We approach from divergent design approach, which is all the architects, including Frank Wright, Le Corbusier, all these Miss Van der Rohe, Norman Foster, all these big and master architects, I look at the plan, I know it won't work because they approach convergently. Convergent design means you interlock all your bathroom, kitchen, your staircase within. That means that the architect, as a master builder, they tailor-made and customize everything. So much so that the first approach is already wrong. If you are not systemized it, you are unable to jump out from the box, then you're forever producing customized and tailor-made design. Then it makes the industry cannot assist our housing industry to higher level. This is my opinion, and then the research is still on. We involve, like what I say, a lot of collective intelligence, collective mind, collective effort. It's not me alone, that we are a group of people, inclusive the leading leader in this industry, all very senior people. We are looking for this thing. If Mr. Raymond would like to be a partner, research partner, you feel free to join us. You are most welcome. Anyone here, because this is for all. It's not for individual. This is a universal approach to the housing problem. It's not for personal gain or what. In fact, it's open. In fact, I open up. I did this research 20 over years. It's already begun, and then I published a book, and then the second book in process about this divergent design, which open out design and to so that the architecture no longer by architect. Instead of architecture, we are talking about products. We are not talking about hand construction, we are talking about machine production. We are not talking about individual approach, we are talking about the group effort. We are not talking about rigid tailor-made design, we are talking about open plan. Then only we will succeed in creating this new housing model of the future, which is possible of making today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question?
Hi, my name is Aliza. I'm from Penang. This question is for Dato' Ismail. Just now you mentioned about the Royale Award. I just wanted to ask you to emphasize about it, and what significance does it give to the Jambatan Kedua? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. The Royale Award was given to us. Actually, when we received the award, we don't know who recommended the award to us. But anyway, we say no problem because it's from the Institution of Civil Engineers, which is about 200 years old. So they are very reputable. So that is one thing. At first we thought it was a prank. Because we don't know actually who submit for us. But anyway, as I say, the award is very significant because it is of all the awards that was given by ICE, the Brunel Award is one of the most significant awards. And it was given to us because, maybe because the current president of ICE is actually has a sustainable orientation, sustainable and green and environmental friendly president. So when the submission states that we are going on life cycle cost, minimization of carbon footprints, and sustainable in construction. So probably that's what I mean. That's what the construction in our paper. Again, we are actually the third country outside UK that has won. The first was in South Korea in 1998, and later on in New Zealand about a few years back, and now Southeast Asia. So it's definitely very significant to us.
Thank you, Dato'. I'm sorry I cut short your presentation. I think that was one of the biggest awards that we have received so far. I think it is well deserved. Okay, any other questions? So,
my question is to Prof. Rehan about the nanotechnology trends in Malaysia. Can you briefly describe about how do you look at the trends of this technology in Malaysian construction industry in maybe 5 years' time from now on? Thank you very much.
At the moment, I don't see any movement towards it. So it's very difficult to me to predict what's going to happen in the future. But elsewhere, there are movements, as I mentioned, in the bridge construction, building construction. A few years ago, not a few years ago, a couple of years ago, a company from in Malaysia contacted me because we have published this work on nano silica, how it improve the strength and improve the fire resistance of the concrete. But still, it's still under. The project hasn't taken off. They just still want to discuss with us because actually there's a lot of research still being done. It's not, nothing is well established or nothing is put to standard yet. I think that's the main thing. Once we get into the standard, then it should go. But nevertheless, I would say that this is important for the country in terms of sustainability. We need to use materials effectively, efficiently. And if you look at the planetary boundaries that has been discussed by many environmentalists, certainly in Malaysia, we are over the boundary of certain materials, many materials. We overuse it for our capacity. And I would say that I would hope that a lot of people in the construction industry, please consider this technology for sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Anybody else? Any words from the panel who wants to say something more? You want to add to what your presentation is? I know I've cut short a lot of your presentation, but if you have to add, we still have a few more minutes. We need to add. Oh, there's another question.
I would like to address the questions to Professor Yuen. We would like to know a little bit about how Singapore did. Singapore built a lot of HDB flats, yeah? While we are struggling with our affordable homes. What do you think is a good model to follow? How do you make it? I mean, surely you have learned a lot of lessons from building thousands and thousands of HDB flats. And then with beam technology coming along, the nanotechnology coming along with modeling kind of modular constructions. Do you think is there anything that we can learn from all this?
So far, I have attended almost the whole day of the conference today. I think Malaysia is doing very well. Singapore should learn from Malaysia. Okay, but coming back to HDB, you know, our government has started to build this affordable housing for Singaporean for more than 50 years. So a lot of the units that was built was like fully funded by the government. I think that's one of the ways that they make it affordable. It's not because of any other reasons. Then, of course, HDB itself has its R&D unit whereby they use beam, they use nanotechnology and all the latest technology that they can use. And they're actually very productive. When you talk about HDB producing massive units for local, they are really, they have done a good job. And I think many countries love to come to Singapore to learn from them. So I guess when you talk about affordability, it's actually our government has actually subsidized a substantial amount because land belongs to the government. So because Singapore is a small country, a little red dot, so when you talk about construction in Singapore, the land cost is the most expensive item. And if the government, being the owner of the land, they can take away that cost, so therefore they can make the unit very affordable. Hope I answer your question.
Okay. Any other questions? Any cross remarks from the presenters? Yeah. Okay, let me probably ask all the participants to stand up and say thank you to the presenters. So I'll hand over this floor back to the chairman from Green, Mr. Karadit. So before I hand it over, once again I apologize for all the shortcomings, and hopefully what we wanted to do is we have achieved. We have come to the time when we have to probably end the session for today. Back to the chairman.
Thank you, Dato. We come to the end of the session today. So a few announcements to be made. For tomorrow, those who are registered for technical visit to Kevin MRT. So please be at the lobby hotel at 8 o'clock. 8 p.m. at lobby hotel. So be punctual and please wear the attire, the proper attire to go to the site visit. And also again, those who lost the key Toyota, the car key by the Toyota, I mistaken. So please go to the secretariat to get the key. So once again, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thanks and appreciate all of you, especially to Dato for moderating the session, and also for our invited speakers, and also all the delegates here. And hopefully we can meet again another 2 years' time. So shall we meet again? Yeah. So in Malaysia again. So okay, thank you everybody. So okay, we have some refreshment outside, so you can have some tea, coffee outside. So with that note, I end our session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.